Guys, if you want some extra content, I know a guy who can sort you out, and the guy's me, and I'm about to sort you out now. Head on over to www.patreon.com/slyguypodcast for all the extra content you can get your filthy little fat fingers into. Just finger the fuck out of that content, get in your big greedy mouths. If you don't want to actually type in www.patreon.com/slyguypodcast, there's a link in the description of the audio and the video of the podcast. So if you're watching it on YouTube, which you should, and subscribe, get on the link there. If you're listening wherever you listen to, Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, wherever, do that. And also, if you haven't already, rate and review the podcast. Help me to help you, because hey guys, we're moving on to bigger and better things. So the help you give me will hopefully give me the ammunition to feed you in a roundabout way too. Okay? So do that, it'll be a nice time. Don't know why I'm doing this, I'm not a politician. Guys, my show Bits and Pieces at the Ulster Hall is on Saturday the 10th of September 2022. If you want to go and have a good time with your friends, this is what you can do. I mean, I was going to say, I don't know what that... If you want to go and have a good time with your friends, you can. Does that mean come to my show? I don't know, but if you want to come to my show and have a good time with your friends, do that. If you want to come by yourself and have a good time, do that. What I'm saying is, it's going to be a good time. And if you want to come, the ticket link is in the description. But if you don't want to follow the description, like I said before with the Patreon, you can go to like the Ulster Hall website or Ticketmaster or wherever you get whatever you want. You and your friends can have a good time. Bits and Pieces. It's going to be my best show yet. It's going to be my last big show for the foreseeable. And by that I mean I probably won't do a brand new hour next year. Come and see it. The Sly Guy podcast is brought to you in association with Modest Beer. Modest are both modest by nature and modest by name. They have a website, which is www.modestbeer.co.uk. They have Instagram. They have Facebook. They have Twitter, whence their handle is @ModestBeer. If you want to know more about Modest Beer, check them out on social media or via their website. Thank you for sponsoring the show, and thank you for your continued support. Modest Beer.
I'm the Sly Guy.
Guys, welcome to the Sly Guy podcast. What is happening? I'm coming in strong. I'm coming in full of energy today. I'm coming in to tell you this one's going to be short and sweet. Why is it going to be short and sweet? Because we have a million of things to do. Guys, it's going to be short and sweet because we have a million things to do. It's going to be short and sweet because also I'm an emotional wreck, okay? This will be the last ever Sly Guy podcast in this studio. It's not the last one ever. Some people going, yes, mate. Yes, brother. And some people going, fuck's sake. But it's not the last ever Sly Guy podcast. It is the last Sly Guy podcast in this studio with this set. You know, with these memories, with the memories of the Sly Guy podcast, with the memories of the Boytown podcast. This studio will be no more. We're moving studios. Why are we moving studios, I hear you ask? And I will tell you, because the UDA have put us out. No, only joking. They haven't put us out yet. We're moving because the new space we have makes more sense. You know, it makes more sense to move. It gives us an opportunity to have a solo Sly Guy podcast space. It gives us an opportunity to have a better space for the guest podcast, which, by the way, is available on Patreon. So that's every Friday we have a guest episode. Sometimes we have guest episodes on here, but whenever we move it over to there, to new space, it'll be a bespoke studio to welcome guests. It will also benefit the Psychic and the Stand-Up podcast, which is again at the moment solely available on Patreon, which is where myself and my friend Psychic Glenn get down and dirty with guests. It's a nice time, it's a fun time, but there's going to be a change, and that's going to be it. So I don't know how the new studio is going to look. I have an idea of how I would like it to look. I have an idea of certain things I would like to do there. There's a lot of deconstruction needed with this studio space. There's a lot of work required to get us ready to go, but overall I feel like it makes sense. Everything in life changes, but you, as Take That say, But generally, you need to move with things. You need to, reinvent yourself a bit. And I think the new space will be better for everyone. So there we have it. That's what the plan is this week. So I'm here now. I need to wrap this podcast probably within half an hour. Just a wee short and sweet podcast to wet your whistles and let you know, hey, the Sly Guy podcast is here. We're going to be back with the next episode in the new space. How that may look, we don't know. There's going to be a lot of interior designing, which, by the way, was what I wanted to be when I was a young boy. When I was 15, my dream was to be an interior designer. Now that I'm 36, I'm being able to kind of fulfill this fantasy a little bit. Now I have to deconstruct this studio first, which could end up being an absolute disaster. But who cares? We're only young once, and then we all die. So give things a go, and it'll be all good. That's my motto. So yeah, that's the plan. Doing that, moving studios, and just getting ready to go and skedaddle to the other side. And it's just one of these things that I didn't realise at the time. Like, I just want to take this sign down. It feels like it's very sturdy. Oh no. You know what? It's coming off alright. We'll tear it off. The end of the episode, we'll rip it off. It's stuck to the wall. I don't know what with. I didn't actually erect it. Somebody else erected it. And it wasn't me. It was Ben. The snake rat erected it. And you might notice this. See any solo podcasts I've done? He's not been here to do it with me. So, hey, Ben, where's your loyalty? You're sacked. Moving studios, you're finally sacked. This studio was what we had. This was our link. This was like a house that a wee married couple have. When a married man and his wife of a couple. I know you're probably going to go, excuse me, a married man is what? What about a married man and his husband? What about a married wife and his wife? Huh? Dave? I sounded peculiarly like Psychic Glenn there. Maybe he has used the psychic powers through this orb to get into my mind and hit me with that. But what I'm saying is, it's like a married couple have split up and they still have the house. And they want to still try to be amicable for the sake of the kids. But the house is the last fucking pawn. They need to get rid of the house to move forward. And that's what we're doing, so I can get rid of Ben. It's a lot of effort, a lot of cost, but it'll be worth it in the long run. But that's the plan. Moving spaces, and I mean, with a few things in mind for what we're going to do with the space. And only joking, I'm not actually sacking Ben, by the way. I need him to help me move and to help me produce the podcast and to set up my lights and stuff. But for the meantime, I think it's a good move, and I'm excited about it. I'm actually excited about going somewhere different and being in a better space, and reinventing how the podcast looks, because I feel like this space, it's not got boring. It's always fun and it's always interesting, and I feel each episode has its own merit. Now, I do think last week's podcast was totally shit. Now, do you want to know some little truths? Do you want to know a little bit behind the candelabra? Okay, I'll tell you. Last week's episode was recorded about 10 minutes ago. But I just wasn't in the mood because I was running out of time. And I had to go home to my family, who are probably going to give off to me about stuff and be like, where are you? And I'm like, I'm fucking, let me go. But that's the truth of the matter, So again, I need to get back. I need to get lots done here. But what actually happened when I got here to record, I got so quickly into going fuck's sake, and I tried to open the wee memory card, which locks for the camera. Now I'm a technophobe, and I broke it, and I had to then use my big fucking Shrek ogre hands to try and fix it, and I thought I balls it, but thankfully I didn't, and we're all okay. Just need to send a quick email here, someone's looking at my address. I don't know why or for what reason, but they want my address, and hey, listen, who am I to not take them at their word? Weird. It's a guy called Babatunde Agarambo, and he says he's a king from Nigeria, and he wants to know my details. Listen here, Agarambo, you're welcome. There we go. Sent. Problem solved. So multitasking in the world, that's where we're at. We're just working here, we're clearing out. I'm looking at all this all this soundproofing or sound restriction, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that. I imagine I'm going to have to paint in here, tidy it, fucking do the works. It's going to be... I might need to enlist help, and I might need to ask my old dad to come up and help me someday. Which he might do, or he might not. But I think it'll probably save me time if I got him to help and come paint it with me on maybe at the end of the week. So we'll do that. That's what we'll do. I'll ask my old dad, come and help me and see what he does. Just to get my deposit back, because it's going to cost me a fucking fortune moving to the next spot. But sure, that's the story. What else has been happening other than the move? Hopefully, yes, again, you like what I'm going to do, because I've let my wife get involved in the interior design of the new space, and she somehow talked me into a different colour scheme. Now, will the Sly Guy podcast retain the orange and black? I think so. I think that's what we will keep, but the guest episode, different theme. Glenn, psychic, and the stand-up podcast will be slightly different as well. It'll be something to behold. Whether it works, who knows. This is why life is exciting. You try new things and you see how it pans out. But anyway, I wanted to actually talk about something that I really want to talk about in last week's podcast, but I forgot, and it was something had happened to me that changed me entirely as a man, both as an individual and as a parent and as a dad. I murdered the first creature that I have murdered. And it was quite I don't want to say it was quite traumatic, to be fair. It was quite a moment. I killed an animal. I watched it. I looked into its eyes as I killed it, and it didn't feel good about it. Now, I need to question things. I need to go, am I now going, is this a start for me? I've killed an animal. Am I now going to be a serial killer? Because isn't that what they say? You start off with small animals and you start moving on to people, and that's the progression of a serial killer. Now, is that what's going to happen to me? I don't know. It's like, I suppose, you ever seen the film Minority Report? And Minority Report is a film with Tom Cruise, not just what Rishi Sunak wants to see before he sends people off to fucking Uganda for no reason, or Rwanda, or both. Oh, Uganda's in my head because that's where Aaron Butler is, which is weird. Now, you all know Aaron Butler's one of my best friends. Why are you in Uganda? All places to go on holiday. But neither here nor there. They just send people to Rwanda. They're like, listen, refugees, see ya. And that was a wee Minority joke. So, the Minority Report is a film whereby basically it's set in the future, and there are these weird wee alien creatures called, I think they're called like precox or something. These wee precox are just like living underwater going, ugh. And then when they're going, ugh, they see crimes. And then I think now this is paraphrasing, and I might get this wrong, and maybe it's been a while since I've seen this film, but I think the wee precox, like, they go, and then they do little, like, mahogany shits. They do these wee, things. They do all this in this water, and then they do this wee mahogany shit, and this wee mahogany shit comes down and lands in a ball, and I think, like, the scientist takes it out, puts it into, like, it's like a wee mahogany shit hard drive, puts it in a computer, and then it sees crimes that are going to be committed in the future. Now, in this, Tom Cruise was, like, obviously a top policeman guy, because that's all Tom Cruise ever is. And in that, they were like, we need to arrest you. And he was like, why? Murder? And he's like, no way. No way, man, I wouldn't murder shit. And they're like, well, according to the wee precox, mahogany shites, you did. So they were chasing him, trying to find out whether he killed someone, and as transpired, the precox are never wrong, he did. So what I want to know is, like, part of this profiling mean that I'm now am I gonna kill some people? Am I gonna become a serial killer? Am I gonna get a buzz off it? I don't know, but I killed a creature. You're probably going, what creature did you kill? I killed I killed a pigeon. And you're probably going, did I do it on purpose? Yes, I killed a pigeon on purpose. Now, I feel like before I get to the point where I explain why I killed the pigeon on purpose, I need to explain the backstory of what got me into the position whereby I killed a pigeon on purpose. Now again, like the Precox and Tom Cruise and all, it's like he didn't do that. He got himself in a position where he saw that he did do it, and he's like, yeah, I did kill this guy. Self-defense, whatever. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Same kind of thing with me and this pigeon, right? I was in my garden. My dog Vinny was in the back garden. I just was in the kitchen doing a bit of washing up. Looked out in the garden, didn't see the dog. Went, fuck's sake. Went out the garden, called him a couple of times. No word from him. I was like, fucking big stupid blonde bastard. And then I heard my neighbour, who's also not a big stupid blonde bastard. She does have blonde hair, lovely woman. Shout, he's in here, Dave. And I went, oh, for fuck's sake. So I called him again. Now Vinny has this ability to just bosh through things. He's a big dog. You know, I've spent my ongoing life mission is to prevent him from escaping from a garden, and he somehow always finds a way. The son of a bitch has cost me a lot of money. Now I've had different things to do. I've had like little bit of wiring, I've had fencing, I've had sheets, netting, I've had, all I need to do is, I think I need to have all the bushes in my garden removed, and I need to have a proper fence installed, like, you know, a proper like prison fence, and then replant the trees again. It's the only way to stop him escaping. But I went through a period of where I was just buying loads of big terracotta pots. Like at one point I think I spent 50 quid on a singular terracotta pot. Now you think how cheap terracotta pots are, and you think how much money would go in to be 50. You think how big £50 worth of terracotta pot is. That's big, and I was just blocking holes with these terracotta pots left, right and centre, and then somehow he's found a new hole in my neighbour's garden. I was like, fuck's sake. So I called him, and he just like a racehorse, you heard dum 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 dum, flew through the bush, just his weight and momentum just straight through. And I was like, you son of a bitch. He was so happy with himself. Never have seen a dog happier in my life. Running about all. I said, you get inside before I fucking never hit him, you know what I mean, before I fucking pretend I'm going to hit you, but I won't. I'll just go, whoa, get inside and close the door. But that was fine. He came back in. I said to my neighbour, thank you, cheers, it'll not happen again. It will, it always does, right? So then as I'm going back to the door, I put my hand on the door handle. She just goes, ah! Now I don't know whether she's just gone boogaloo or something's up, and I was like, what? She goes, there's a dead bird in my garden. And that's not how she speaks, by the way. I don't know why I've done that voice. Because there's a dead bird in my garden. I was like, all right, okay, shit. So now in my head I'm going, well, what do you want me to do about it? Put it in the bin? And I thought, no, what? You know, I'll not do that. She's a lady. I'll go around and help her. Because again, that's just what guys do. And I said in last week's podcast, which I wouldn't remember if I recorded it a week after, but I recorded 10 minutes ago, that the role of a dad in a family is twofold. You carry things, and you get killed if someone burgles the house first. You're the first line of defence if someone breaks into the house, and you carry things. That's it. So that's the role of a dad within a family. Now within a wider community, if you're a dad, you just have to do dad jobs that other people don't do, like kill a spider. Oh, dads have to do that, you know. Change the oil in a car, dads have to do that. I don't do that. I get my actual dad to still do that because I'm not a proper dad. But if there's an issue with a lady and the neighbour, and you have to do some manly stuff, you have to do it. So I thought, right, fuck, I'll do my chivalrous duty. I'll go around and have a look. Now in my head I'm thinking, it'll just be a bird. I'll go shovel it, put it in the bin, whatever. Wasn't dead, was it? This motherfucker was just lying in the corner like, that's not the noise a pigeon makes. Pigeons kind of go, bro, 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 like an old Birmingham woman looking for a cup of tea. Bro, 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 mate, give us a bro. And I was looking at it going on though, and weirdly I got down to see if it was alive or not. I could see it was doing this, so I knew it was alive, you know. But when I looked in its wee eyes, it looked reptilious. It looked all like fucking stinking. Its wee legs were all, and I thought, you're gross. But then my neighbour was like, oh, thank goodness for Vinny. And I went, what do you mean? She goes, well, if he hadn't been in the garden, I wouldn't have seen outside and seen there was this bird in the corner in trouble. And in my head, I'm thinking, if it wasn't for Vinny, I imagine the bird probably wouldn't be in this condition. Because now he wouldn't eat it. He's not a bird eater. He's a bird jump. He would jump on it and like play with it like a ball. So I imagine what probably happened, he jumped on this bird, did a wee bit of and hurt it, maybe broke its back, because he's a big boy. No, not on purpose, but I think that's happened. So I was like, right, I need to kill this guy because it put it out of its misery. That's what you do. People say if you see a sick bird, put it out of its misery. Now, I don't want to touch it with my hands because everyone knows pigeons are the rats of the sky. You don't want to touch those dirty bastards and end up getting some sort of condition like polio. I don't want to be in 2022 and get polio from a pigeon, okay? Sorry, call me old-fashioned, but this guy not getting polio off a pigeon, alright? Fuck that. I'd rather just let it die in pain. And I said to Carol, I was like, listen, he's about to die. And she was like, no, he's not. Don't worry about it. He will. So I was like, just leave him. And I was about to walk away, and you could tell she was uncomfortable with the situation. She didn't want to have a dying bird in her back garden. Like, does anyone want the bird dying in their back garden? No. Not at all. Last thing you want. But I said, right, okay, I'll put it out of its misery. Now, I didn't know what to do. I was like, do you have a weapon? And she went, yeah, and gave me a shovel. Now I went, right, what the fuck am I going to do with a shovel? I've never murdered anything before. I'm not a sociopath. I have empathy. I'm not a psycho. I thought, you know what? I will just do whatever it is. I will kill this bird with this shovel. Now, everyone always says, if you have to kill something or put it out of its misery, you need to do it as quickly and as painlessly as possible. So I had to look in the shovel to be like, how the fuck am I going to, what's painful, what's the least slow and least painful way to, and I went, I know, decapitate it. Now, with hindsight, stupid idea. At the time, having never killed him before, I think decapitating the pigeon is totally rational. That's why the French used the guillotine. Head off, no bother, you don't even feel it. Albeit you can see, apparently, for like a split second, you'd be like, oh, look at that fat body with no head there. Oh, bollocks, that's me. And then you die. But I walked over to the pigeon. I put both my feet across and I stood above it like the fucking Highlander. Oh, and I was about to, and she went, what are you doing? I was like, killing it. She goes, you're going to cut it in half? And I was like, well, yeah, probably. Like, I'm not, well, fuck do you want me to do? You could kill it yourself, but you asked me to do it. And she was like, well, don't want you to cut it in half because there'll be guts everywhere. And I went, yeah, true point, but it's not my garden. Once dead, this not my problem. The cleanup, your job. The actual act, I'll kill it. I don't want to kill it, but I'll kill it. You can, whatever. And she went, I'll see if I've anything else. Now, at this point, I think she's looking at me like I'm a completely mental guy. Like, are you? I was like, yeah, I was going to kill it. Whatever. She found a brush. She gave me a brush and a shovel, and I was left with this pigeon to be like, right, what do I do? So what I did, and it's a moment that'll stay with me forever because it looked right in my eyes just before I killed it. And I didn't feel any sort of power. I didn't feel any kind of pride. But what I did, I took the shovel with my left hand. I just cut its head off. No. I took the shovel with my left hand and I pressed down on the back of the pigeon so it couldn't move. Not that it could anyway, because Finney had probably broken its back. I put the brush shaft like under its head and like in the wee crevice of the wall at the back and formed like a lever. So I had its neck between the shovel and the lever, and I just went like that, and I just, whatever way it caught, broke its neck. And broke it, like the neck was like broken back over on itself, and it was dead by this point. And I felt a rush like I've never felt before or since. Oh, as soon as its neck went, I just went full boner. I was like, oh, no, I didn't. That's weird. I felt terrible. I felt really sad. Now, I do hate pigeons, but I felt bad about that, but it was dead at least because it was moving around in a way that wasn't very comfortable and it was going to die. Then I used the shovel, put it in a couple of bin bags and threw it in her bin. She was like, can you put it in your bin? And I was like, no, obviously not. It died in your garden. You need to give it a burial. Did I say a prayer for it? Yes. Do I believe in God? I don't know. But I'm not going to be disrespectful to a dead whatever that I've just killed. So that was an interesting experience for me as a man. A lot of people say like, oh, there's the coming of ages and moments in life, there's things you need to do. I think as a man, I've killed my first animal. I think now that if, you know, animals are in any misery, I'm just going to put them out of it. That being said, I will carry a hammer with me at all times in case there's just things that need put out of misery. I'll do it. You know, but it was an interesting experience, and one that I think will live with me. Sometimes when I close my eyes at night and sleep, I see the wee stupid reptilian face, which, you know, I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I was looking at its feet, then its head, or otherwise maybe the pigeon had polio and that's what was going on. But it wasn't a nice experience. I wasn't a nice pigeon. It wasn't like the time a pigeon had broken its wing in my old house and I didn't put it out of its misery because it was a sexy pigeon and was still running around, just couldn't fly. And then what happened was I rang my mum, and she knew a guy who was into pigeons. He came and took the pigeon, put it in his wee loft, and phoned the wee number around the pigeon's leg. And the guy came from Sunderland to collect the pigeon to make it into a stud pigeon because it was apparently an expensive pigeon. Didn't give me a penny. Fuck you. But I'm a murderer now, so guys, don't be fucking with me, you know. Don't be putting negative comments in the video. Don't be disrespecting the work, because I've murdered now. I've broken necks to death. I have broken necks to mortem. Post-mortem. I have mortemed another creature. The creature that fucked with me got mortemed, and it didn't even fuck with me. It was just in the wrong place at the wrong time and got mortemed by me. So there you go. Enjoy this episode. Get mortemed. Alright, this is what we're going to call it. You get mortemed if you mess with Davey. And that's what happened. And the bloody pigeon got mortemed. It's dead. And I'm tired. And that's it. Alright guys, so how do you feel about that? And I do hope it's not a gateway into serial killing. If it is, this will probably be used in evidence, which will be awkward. Speaking of things being used in evidence, I'm watching a show on Netflix at the minute called Innocent, I want to say. And it's a show about a guy who was found guilty of a crime. He's been proven innocent and released. I think it's called Innocent. I watched a show called Informer on my holidays last week when I was travelling over in the boat. 10 out of 10. Really good time. Had Paddy Considine in it. Good actor. And it was just a nice time. I would recommend watching Informer and also maybe Innocent and also Love Island. I will always watch Love Island, but now Love Island's going to be shit because it's the last week and it's just all lovey-dovey annoying shit. I like people being bitches, backstabbing, you know. I like Andrew. I want Andrew to win Love Island because he's a titty sucking motherfucker. Anyway, Phil has asked, you've landed in Antalya, money's no object, what are you getting done first? Now I assume that's somewhere in Turkey to do teeth and hair. The first answer you would expect me to say would be hair. But you know what? I'm okay with being a bald guy. It doesn't bother me. It's natural. It falls out. I've so much testosterone. You know why? Huge balls and a huge dick. So, you know, being a bit bald and having a big dick and balls, that doesn't bother me. Wouldn't it be worse if I had a full head of hair and a micro penis? Yeah, but guess what? I have a big grey dick and some big grey balls. So open your big grey mouth and suck it. So what I would do if I went there and money was no object, I get liposuction. There you go. Because I'm trying to lose weight because I'm too fat and miserable about it. But I just feel like liposuction isn't something that's going to be like life-alteringly painful. You know, I think the hair would be sore and then it could look shit and you'd be like, fuck's sake. I've seen that girl from Belfast that got her teeth done in Turkey. They look really sore. And here's another thing. Why do people get their teeth shaved down? Surely that's agony. Surely that is absolutely agony. People do it anyway. All for looks. And guess what, guys? This is what you tune into this podcast for. Guess what? Spoiler alert. Looks fade. It's what's inside that counts. See, one thing I'll tell you, and you'll know this if you have a partner that you love. From the day you're born, they say your eyes are the same size. So you're born, your eyes don't grow. They're your eyes. From the day you're born to the day you die, they're the window to your soul. As the body ages around the eyes remain the same. You still have the same eyes. You look into your partner's eyes and you go, I love those eyes. This is my person. I love you. And you'll always love that. So it's important to know you're with someone, not for their looks, but for their personality. You know, it also helps if they've got nice boobs, but each their own. Eyes are important. Another thing I do want to also question, if any doctors are out there, I know there's a few medical people listening to this podcast for medical advice, but is your sphincter the same size on the day you're born as your eyes are, or does it change over time? Because my baby does shits the size of mine, and I don't know whether that's because she's got super colon or eats too much. They're logs, for someone so small, she drops logs. That's all I'm saying. But liposuction, my friend, I'd be tempted to get gastric band as well, but then I think that'll be sore too. Like if they put that in, it hurts. Gross. Patrick Quinn has said, do hecklers ever ruin your mood during a gig at all? Or are you just good at laughing it off and turning the tables to make them look like a dick? Well, yeah, I can do that, but if they just don't get the message, it's a fucking nightmare. And I get more annoyed if gigs are ruined for other people than I do if it's annoying. Because at the end of the day, I'm still getting paid, to be fair, and then going home to the family. I'm like, oh, there's my dough, there's my money, take it all, feed the children for a week. Whereas it's more the people that have paid to see you I get annoyed for, because if there's one fucking idiot ruining it, it can be a disaster. But if you get heckled and you get put down, or you put them down, they should shut up. But then if they're stupid and not listening, they just carry on, don't they? But yeah, do I like hecklers? No, I think more venues need to fucking buck people out if they're being hecklers. To be honest, I think more security need to do more of that, because it is a problem. Marco said, dear Lord, hope you had a nice time off on Necker Island or Dubai or wherever you were. Have you seen those arseholes, Branson, Musk and Bezos? They never fuck up about spaceships flying to Mars and that, and they're literally fuck all up there. Would you do a gig in space, and how would you cope with shitting and pissing into a vacuum cleaner? Well, I mean, pissing and shit into a vacuum cleaner would be alright. I've done that plenty of times. I've come into vacuum cleaners as well many times. But I wouldn't go to space. Space is something I don't think I'm equipped for, physically or mentally. I'm too large, my wee lungs are too sore, and I don't see why I need to be there when I'm fine on Earth. So it's not for me. Oh, there's more from Marco here. Apparently one can aim, target and hit a fellow astronaut in space with a fart. Maybe it would change. Like if I could drop laser farts at people, yes, I would go to space for that. And maybe Musk, Branson and Bezos want to have a fart war in space. Well, that would be what I would pay to see. Let's see. Aaron has said, why is everything funnier in a Scouse accent? Because it's terrible. It's all high pitched snowmies. Oh, this is a video I've seen from the Hot Water Green Room podcast. It's about coincidentally a guy making a heckler cry, which is good. Tony Carroll, you call him. Funny looking chap. He looks like a shaved Kieran Bartlett. But yeah, it's a good clip. I advise people have a nosy there. Taylor said, are you aware you have a twin in Ballyclare? Nice poetry. No, I'm not aware of that. But I mean, if you know I have a twin in Ballyclare, please take a photo. Please let me know. Make me aware of my twin in Ballyclare. Bo. Rodney Boyd has said, Rodney Boyd? Is Rodney Boyd a footballer? Let's see. No, Rodney Brown's a footballer. There you go. That's what I thought. I thought Rodney Boyd was a footballer. Rodney Brown. There you have it. What would your adult version of a Pug fan sell, and what song would it play? Well, if it's an adult Pug fan, because it would just have glory holes. You just have, but women glory holes. So like, it would just be the button vanny sticking on a Pug fan, and the song it would play would be Wait by the Yin Yang Twins. Wait till you see my dick. But it'd be like, wouldn't sound good. But no, joking aside, I would just replace the ice cream with pints, and it'd just be draft pints coming out of the ice cream van, and that would be it. So there you go, guys. That's it. That's the end of the podcast. That's the end of an era. That's Sly Guy Podcast in the studio, all done. Please don't wreck the sign. It's off, and wowee, what a sight. That's going to take a lot of work to rectify. But hey, it's all fun, guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Sly Guy podcast in this studio. I hope you enjoyed it over the years, and I hope you enjoy the move. Bet you never realised the sign was as big as it was, did you? Doesn't look that big on the wall, but you take it off, it can hide my whole body, so that's fairly large. Guys, listen, enjoy yourselves, take care, and I'll see you in the new studio when it's ready. Bye.
I'm the sly guy.